Changing what we eat is maybe the hardest thing. When we have a complicated scenario, humans will go to one of the extremes because it's too complicated to stay in the gray area.
I was about to speak in Spanish.
No habla. Some of the recipes that we're going to talk about today, we're going to take some of those really simple foods and just like upgrade their nutrition immensely.
Should we jump to the habit experiment
Whatever you
of
want.
the week?
Here's a quick meal plan for a student for the day. You ready?
Hi, welcome to The Habit Experiment. I'm Tiffany. Every week, I test expert advice on building habits and share what actually happens on social media, the wins, the fails, and all the messy in between. If you know what you should be doing, but actually doing it is the hard part, you're in the right place. Today, as you can see, I'm chatting with Kyle Byron. He's a nutrition coach and a personal trainer with over 20 years of experience. He has an honors degree in human nutrition. You have worked with pro athletes,
Yes.
busy adults,
Yep.
and with students.
Yeah, absolutely.
In today's episode, we're going to talk about why diet is important in our everyday lives and how can young adults build healthier eating habits in a realistic way. What stops people from creating consistent and also healthy dietary habits?
Well, the word habit is in the question, and that's what is sticky, and that's what's stopping people from change because they do have habits. And they grow up, like with food especially. So we learned how to eat before we can remember anything. It's like pre-verbal. And so we're 4 or 5 or 6, so we can talk and walk and we're eating things and it's sort of normal for us, whatever it is. And you might go to someone's house, for lunch or for dinner and they eat something different. And then that might be the first time you're like, what is this? But how they ate or how teenagers have been eating and how that, that is a habit. So how are you going to take something that is so entrenched as a habit? Children, they're gonna have their favorite meals, and they're going to if you don't grow up with spicy food, it's hard for a kid just to have a spicy meal. There's textures involved, there's tastes, there's cultural things, there's passion, there's comfort food. So it's changing what we eat is maybe the hardest thing to do.
Because it's also something that you have since you're a kid, literally.
Yeah, let alone the conflicting information out there. That's a factor. Cost can be a factor. Time or perceived time, lack of mastery. Humans hate doing things that they suck at. So let's say, okay, it's easy. You just go and you cook a chicken breast. What's so hard about that? And then some people, they just can't. Without help, they just can't do it. And so we have to be sensitive to the technical aspect of nutrition and actually executing. Because if you spend $50 on groceries, you come home and you make it and it tastes bad.
Yeah.
That's a very
it sucks. Yeah.
demoralizing thing. And, the feedback. So the food is giving you that feedback. And then we can interpret that. So now we're getting into change psychology. If I interpret that as a failure and I feel bad about it, I'm not going to go there again.
So you would say it's hard for students, for example, to start building these type of habits because no one has taught them, or some
Maybe.
of us, we didn't grow up cooking. So when we're all of a sudden adults and we're trying to cook, obviously at the beginning it's not going to taste the best because we're not cooks, right?
Or it tastes good, we're just doing craft dinner or noodles or instant noodles or whatever, really simple stuff. Tastes great, terrible nutrition. So that can happen as well.
Yeah.
Which is why some of the recipes that we're going to talk about today, we're going to take some of those really simple foods and just upgrade their nutrition immensely. But students also have other priorities. Do students care about their nutrition? Some of them do, and those that do, and this is really the same about any sort of habit change. If it's important to someone, they're going to do it. They're going to get help. They're going to focus on it.
How do you help people move from being motivated to actually taking action?
So when I'm working with someone trying to dismantle entrenched habits, you have to go with the easy stuff first and then follow up. So when I'm thinking about this interview with you today, it's communities, I think, in a student level that would really help. So if there was a cooking club, or sports teams, or they're playing intramural sports or whatever, or in residence, someone says, let's get together on Sundays and let's batch cook, which you asked about. Let's eat a little bit healthy. We'll save some money. That community aspect is a huge driver of behavior change. Massive, massive driver.
How other ways can we build realistic, healthy eating habits as young adults?
So there's lots of studies on habits. Number one might be to stack it. So if you're trying to remember a supplement, put the supplement by your toothbrush because you probably are already brushing your teeth. Don't put the supplements in the cupboard where you might not see them that morning. If you drink coffee every morning, put the supplements by the coffee. It's either The Power of Habit or Atomic Habits, I think, did the habit stacking thing in that book.
This is the second interview and the second person who talks about atomic habits.
Well, your podcast is, the habit experiment. So yeah, the habit stacking thing is partly so you just don't forget. So having just a simple reminder, it goes a long way. We can look at positive feedback, which I don't know if I've talked about yet, but there's an example in one of the books I read. I think it's called Switch by the Heath brothers. And they talk about, like in a circus, like you want to get a monkey to ride a skateboard. So you put the skateboard in their cage or their pen or wherever they live, and they're kind of going to be scared of the skateboard, but then they eventually touch the skateboard. As soon as they touch the skateboard, give them a reward, and I guess the monkeys would want a banana or some food or something. So they touch the skateboard, they get another banana. So then like, oh, they stand on it. Now they get like maybe 2 bananas or another banana. And eventually they're riding the skateboard because, and I'll switch back to humans, like we love positive feedback. There's also negative reinforcement. Like I know that if I keep yelling at my kids, eventually they're not going to love me anymore. Like they'll just abandon me as adults. There'll be too much psychotherapy that they need to be like, oh man, this guy ruined me. And my wife will leave me. Like there's high stakes here, really high stakes, which can be very motivating for behavior change.
Going back to eating, what are the rewards that you've seen that work for people?
Great question. Energy levels, sleeping better, that feels good every day. Mental health, that feels good every day, every minute. So people that want to exercise and eat better, they keep going because of how it feels, not because how they look, in my experience.
But okay, I was about to speak in Spanish. But for example...
No habla.
Sorry. But for example, I got excited.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to start like eating healthier, if they want to give themselves a reward for eating better, what kind of reward? Because like they cannot just eat, chocolate, for example, for the reward. Or yes, like what do they normally do to give themselves a reward good enough so that they feel motivated to continue?
So it's not like someone's giving them a reward. They're noticing the benefits,
changes.
And that's the reward. So someone might have a setback, and here's the big thing about behavior change. You have to be resilient in these setbacks. A lot of people are really hard on themselves, especially high achievers. We have to hold ourselves to a high account, right? We have to be accountable to our goals, but also have self-compassion for setbacks. Young people are not great at that because resilience is actually a skill that is developed. Yes, there's some genetics involved in our personality traits, but
how can they train that? Like, how can young adults train being more resilient?
So we have to put ourselves in difficult situations. The tricky part is the self-compassion piece, which I've already mentioned. So if we fail, or if we have a setback, or it didn't go well at badminton practice, whatever it is, we have to be proud of the attempt. I was born in 76 and grew up from there. And there was a lot of negative feedback in my house for a lack of performance. There was not a lot of empathy. And so now modern parents, like we get down with our kids and be like, you know what, like it's okay. You can't quit. We're going to go again next week to whatever practice. I don't care how you do, but you cannot quit. And you will get better and let's try and have fun and blah, blah, blah. So focusing on the effort and the attempt.
And not on the result.
Not necessarily the result. Then if we do succeed at something, it's like, oh, wow, oh my gosh. Then you try something more difficult the next time. It's these little steps and being proud of yourself along the way. The most catastrophic thing I see is people being too hard on themselves. It's like poison in your veins. And I can smell it 1,000 miles away. And so I'll get them to do, there's Dr. Martin Seligman. You write down 3 positive things every night. 3 things you did well every day and how they came to pass. So it's like, oh, I rode my bike here, even though it was cold. That showed my grittiness and my commitment. And you go from there. His studies were done on suicidal military veterans, and he reduced their suicides rates significantly simply by them thinking of some cool things and good things that they did.
Wow.
Before bed.
Normally, I'm pretty hard on myself. I don't know. It's just like an automatic thing. Like if you grow up being that way,
yes,
you have to be very mindful if you want to change it.
Yes.
So it's like that internal dialogue of like, oh, I could have done this better, or I could have done that better, or differently, blah, blah, blah. Instead of being like, at least you tried something new. At least you tried something different. It was fun. Yep. Instead of seeing it that way, I always see myself through performance.
So you both have to exist. I want to try better. This is where I sort of screwed up. I still love myself. And I can do better. As
young adults, sometimes we don't know what to cook. We don't have the ingredients. When we search online, it's just
forget it.
Like a big list of a lot of things that we don't even know what they are.
Right.
What are some items that you think are must-haves that students can get when they go grocery shopping that are easy to make or prepare and that they're also affordable?
So you want some lean proteins. So that could be chicken breast, which is kind of expensive. You could do canned tuna. You can't do that every day because you might get mercury poisoning. Eggs, Eggs are pretty simple to cook, frozen shrimp, or just some protein powder. So you need some lean proteins in your nutrition. Then you want maybe some fruit and vegetables. If you're buying fruit and it's going bad, then it's like, well, let's try frozen. Frozen strawberries can go in yogurt or a smoothie, frozen blueberries. Like those are really, really great. And then you do want to cycle through some vegetables like carrots or broccoli, something simple. Again, you could do frozen vegetables for that as well. Then your healthy fats, like a bag of mixed nuts or avocados, which are pretty expensive. So let's talk about what goes on the plate, right? So everyone has seen Canada's Food Guide, which has some problems. Did you know that there's no information about fats? It's like if I told you to drive a car and I took the steering wheel out of the car. Here's your driver's license.
Because I have no idea about nutrition. The food guide is ridiculous. So I don't know why fats is so important.
They help us absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A and D and K and E. They also are good for our hormones because they can be building blocks for the structural compounds of hormones. And you also get calories from them. And if you take the fats away, then you're only getting calories from like carbohydrates and protein. So healthy fats and saturated fat is not that bad for you in balance, but you cannot have a diet that's like ground beef, butter, cheddar cheese. That's too much saturated fat. So let's get some peanut butter in there. Let's get some mixed nuts. And then in terms of supplements, which we're going to just touch on quickly, fish oil, multivitamins, vitamin D, and then maybe some greens powders. So if you do have a day without any fruit or vegetables, you can take like a dehydrated greens powder. You don't have to get the expensive one that is advertised ubiquitously. You can get like a really no-name brand, any sort of dehydrated greens from Bulk Barn. Okay. And there's like antioxidants and vitamins in there. It doesn't have to be perfect to be improved. So on the plate, you want half the plate vegetables, or you could say like 2 fists of vegetables. You want a fist of protein or 2 maybe. You want maybe about a fist of carbs like, rice or fruit or oatmeal, sweet potatoes, peas, butternut squash. And the more real that food is, the better.
Instead
and then
of like pasta and rice?
Yep. Or like oatmeal or, like breads and cereals and crackers. Like those are on the sort of the processed side. And they're not going to kill you. You balance it all out. You balance it out. And this is so important. Is people go to change what they're eating and they go too far too fast, or they villainize like a box of wheat thins, right? What's wrong with a handful of wheat thins like once a week? Give me a break. Nothing. And lastly, you want then about 2 thumbs of fats, which is your nuts and butters and oils and things like that. So you can take any cuisine. So if we're going for like Italian food, so we have 2 fists of maybe like pork tenderloin or maybe a tilapia fish or something. We have a fist of cooked pasta. We have 2 fists of like eggplants and tomatoes, and then 2 tablespoons of olive oil. If we want to do like Mexican food, let's say, so maybe we have a burrito, but it's like a small wrap, not like a giant one. There's our carbohydrates, and then vegetables. We fill it with like loads of like lettuce and tomatoes, and then maybe on the side we have like some sautéed peppers and onions. And then the protein is maybe like chicken breast, or even vegetarian, you could go like black beans there. Here's an example. I thought of this on the way, and I think about this a lot actually. Let's say we're going to a barbecue, and I want to have 2 hamburgers because I'm hungry and I love hamburgers. Let's say I take away one of those buns. I take 100 calories off of my plate from a processed carb, and I double stack those patties now. So it's 1 bun with 2 patties. And then that other 100 calories there's like a broccoli salad there or hummus. And hopefully someone brought some vegetables to this barbecue. And quite often that's me. And so I have this juicy, high in saturated fat hamburger, which has some downsides to it, but it's protein as well. And then a bunch of broccoli salad. So what have I done? I've come close to that plate. Whereas, someone who's not thinking about their nutrition might just have 3 hamburgers and a Coke. And that's it. So the difference here, we're both at the same barbecue. I had just as much fun. I had hamburgers, but I also got to a place where I had a balanced meal. It was probably too high in fat, but it was pretty close. And you only have to get to like a B+ with your nutrition to have perfect nutrition, really.
It doesn't have to be like to the milligram.
No, God, no. And it's so important to understand that. And the recipes we talk about, like taking some ramen noodles and cutting up a red pepper and putting that in there and a can of tuna and dumping that in there. You've elevated this ramen noodle, which is just like 100% carbohydrates, nothing else, lots of salt. Boom. Now it's a balanced meal. So easy.
For example, you also told me about KD.
So when it was
KD,
like I would rather have ramen noodles now. I think they're more delicious than Kraft Dinner. But when I was going through school, it was Kraft Dinner. You may assume I was sort of getting more interested in nutrition, and I was like, well, like I got to elevate this. So yeah, it was a red pepper and a can of tuna, and I'd throw away some of the pasta because the cheese sauce can only go so far. If you put all this stuff in without reducing some of the pasta, there's not enough of the cheese chemical. to like go to
Cheese chemical.
yeah, right. This is highly processed food.
But then it's just how can we add some stuff
Yeah.
so that it's a little bit better.
Exactly. And that makes a huge difference.
For students, it's like either I eat 100% super healthy
Yeah.
or I eat like trash, you know? So it's like, I like that middle ground that you're finding, which is like ramen noodles with like adding some other stuff.
When we have a complicated scenario, humans will go to one of the extremes because it's too complicated to stay in the gray area.
What's the best way that students can make it easy so that it's not like every single day cooking?
Yeah. So you just turn the oven on, get some chicken breast, put it on a cookie sheet and cook like 6 to 10 chicken breasts. So that'll last, once it's cooked and it's food safe and everything, that'll last 5 days. And so now anytime you need chicken for a sandwich or you want to put chicken in your dinner or chicken, like it's there, it's done. Same with whatever vegetable you want. You want to do broccoli? Let's get 5 heads of broccoli, boil a giant cauldron of water, boil it for 2 or 3 minutes, run it under cold water, stop the cooking. Then you need to get the water off. So you need a salad spinner. Not all families have a salad spinner. If you're going to store broccoli, it has to be dry. So if you don't have a salad spinner, you got to put like paper towels or tea towels around it. But yeah, it's simple economy of scale and being efficient. So you just batch cook.
You freeze it.
No
need to freeze.
If you follow food safety protocols, cooked chicken is going to be okay in the fridge for up to 7 days. And broccoli, again, keeping it dry 4 or 5 days. Or we're going to do a one-pot meal, like a chili or like a giant stir fry. And you just multiply. It's like, well, one meal is 1 fist of chicken and 2 fists of vegetables. So you start like scaling it up. Some of that you can freeze. So chili freezes very well. In my mom's recipe, which if you sign up for my newsletter, by the way, you get my mom's chili recipe.
Newsletter.
The antidote. And I have a little podcast too. Let's see who can build them up. I think I have five subscribers, so I'm not a threat.
I'm gonna subscribe.
No, I'm very passionate about this, obviously, and I love talking. So be efficient. Get some friends together and cook like on a Sunday afternoon. It's so fun. And then bring your Tupperwares, and then everyone walks away with like 10 meals. It's awesome. Here's a quick meal plan for a student for the day. You ready? Wake up, let's do a smoothie. Protein powder, banana, peanut butter, some frozen spinach, water. Blend that up. That's like a perfect meal.
If someone is not training, is it good to eat like protein powder?
Yes.
Because I have this idea of like, only if you train and you're like hardcore into fitness, then that's when you...
I dated this woman once and it didn't work out. And she said, I will never date a guy with 2 kinds of protein powder.
Well, she technically did.
She did date a guy with 2 kinds, but never again. Yeah, protein powder is just like milk with the carbohydrates and fat sort of taken out. There's like a process to it. They put it through these little tiny tubes. So protein powder is definitely essential for grandmas and granddads that can't get enough protein, to busy executives or students. So yeah, throw down. Let's get that smoothie going.
Any protein powders that you recommend?
Definitely you want a whey protein isolate. And if it says New Zealand on the label, it might be of a higher quality. Do not get a concentrate. Lunch, you could just have some leftover dinner. Maybe we've got like that craft dinner thing, or maybe just a snack. So in the list that I give here, it's like Greek yogurt and berries, or cottage cheese and berries. Or if we're vegan or we want a vegetarian meal, it's like there's a lentil salad that I put in there. Or you buy lunch and you just try to get something like moderately healthy. You just don't go too like insane. You buy lunch. Snacks, little can of tuna or beef jerky and an apple. Having nuts on its own is kind of low in protein, but like a handful of cashews or like half a cup of mixed nuts is delicious and it'll fill the void. And then dinner, we want that plate guide again. The smoothie is the plate. That plate I talked about, the vegetables and the fist of protein and snack.
We're gonna get that recipe, right?
The smoothies and the recipes I sent you.
Yes. Should we jump to the habit experiment
Whatever you
of
want.
the week?
Yep.
Okay. He's gonna give us a list of ingredients that we have to buy because we're gonna go grocery shopping next week. We're gonna also get some of Kyle's recipes so that we can make good meals with those ingredients.
So good luck to everyone out there that is trying to eat healthier. It does not take 21 days to set a habit. The research says more like 66 days. Allow for setbacks, get some help, get like a buddy or something with it. Be kind to yourself, but also hold yourself to a high accountability, and then try and notice what's working. And that positive reinforcement will keep you going.
Yay!
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. Yes, we did it! All right, let's put this into action together this week. Follow the Habit Experiment Pod on Instagram to join me in trying this out. I'll be documenting the whole process, plus sharing free resources to help you out. And if you want more of this, make sure to follow the show. See you next week.